Katō was brought into the world as Hattori Sokichi, the second child of a previous samurai. Retainer of the Owari Tokugawa space in Nagoya, Owari Territory, in the town of Saya, Ama Locale in what is currently area of the city of Aisai, Aichi Prefecture. He was embraced by Katō Bunhei at 13 years old, and went to Tokyo Magnificent College, from which he graduated at the highest point of his group from the law division, spent significant time in English customary regulation. After graduation, he filled in as a representative of Mitsubishi Zaibatsu, and was shipped off London for quite some time. On his re-visitation of Japan in 1885, he turned into an associate administrator at the Mitsubishi head office in Marunouchi, Tokyo. In 1886, he wedded Haruji, the oldest girl of Iwasaki Yatarō, the leader of Mitsubishi. In 1887, Katō became private secretary to Akuma Shigenobu, who was then pastor of international concerns, and worked with Akuma on the modification of the inconsistent arrangements. In this way, he filled in as overseer of the financial department in the money ministry. From 1894 to 1899, he filled in as emissary to the Unified Realm, and in 1900, during the Fourth Edo organization, he became unfamiliar pastor. Nonetheless, the Ito organization stayed in office a couple of months. During his period in the assembled realm and in the unfamiliar service, he helped establish the groundworks for the old English-Japanese coalition, which was finished up in 1902. In 1902 he was chosen an individual from the place of delegates in the eating regimen from Kochi Prefecture. Designated again as unfamiliar pastor in the Saionji Bureau, 1906, he surrendered after a short stretch, being against the nationalization of the confidential rail routes, which the Bureau supported. He then, at that point, stayed without office until 1908, when he acknowledged the post of minister in London. He got a privileged GCMG, and procured the standing of being one of the most grounded among the lesser statesmen. He surrendered his post as envoy in December 1912, and again filled in as unfamiliar clergyman in the Third Katsura and Second Akuma organizations, yet entirely before long surrendered. He made a constitutionalist party, turning into its leader in 1913, and joined the Bureau as unfamiliar pastor in April 1914. He was in this manner unfamiliar clergyman at the flare-up of the Second Great War, and in the expressions of Kurt Strawn, World War I, page 72, and quote, of the multitude of world's legislators in 1914, Katō demonstrated the most dexterous at involving battle. For the reasons for strategy. Locally he took advantage of it to attest the strength of the unfamiliar service and of the Bureau in the creation of Japan's international strategy. Universally, he made a move to rethink Japan's relationship with China. In doing so he was not just outmaneuvering the fanatics when against to him, he was likewise respecting his own conviction that Japan ought to be an extraordinary power like those of Europe, and quote, Kato's choice that Japan ought to enter the Second Great War incredibly maddened the Genro, who had not been counseled, and who accordingly felt that their power and authority were being insulted. Furthermore, Katō made significant discussion in January 1915, when he gave the 21 requests to China, which started a significant worldwide episode and impressive resistance locally. In 1915, Katō was chosen as an individual from the place of friends by majestic order. He became leader of the moderate Kensakai ideological group in the next year, whose approaches he significantly impacted with his resistance to the Genro, backing of the Constitution and backing for expansion of well-known testimonial. Katō was named head of the state of Japan from 1924 until his demise in mid-1926. His bureau was nicknamed the Enquat, Goken Sampa Naikaku Enquat, bureau in view of the three favorable to constitution groups, which, in spite of its alliance nature, had the option to order huge regulation. In 1925, Katō had the overall political decision regulation established, which stretched out the vote to all male residents beyond 25 years old. He likewise endorsed the Harmony Safeguarding Regulation, which stifled liberal political associations, and closed the Soviet-Japanese Essential Show. He additionally started widespread military assistance. Katō endeavored to decrease government spending, yet in addition languished impressive individual analysis over his family joins with Mitsubishi.